Bloomington, Indiana, Chris Cannon, two-time All-American, going up against Henry Porter, ranked 26th at 141. Good clash, but Chris Cannon, 1-5. A different kind of January that's been pretty tough, coming back from injuries. Of course, Chris was a two-time All-American at Northwestern, went to Michigan last year, was hurt in the first match out, and now is back at Northwestern.
Yeah, and Chris is a guy who's definitely capable. One of his best finishes at the 2022 national championships. Unfortunately, had an injury last year, but trying to get back on track. Had a couple tough losses this year. Just haven't seen him much, right? It's January. You have that Big Ten schedule. You're not used to it after a year, so I expect Cannon to start getting it back on track come late in January. Sorry, February, right? Today's February 1st, so
yeah, that's right.
Time is running out.
Yeah.
So you got to start today.
We're wanting that groundhog to see that shadow tomorrow. And Henry Porter, a redshirt sophomore out of Gilroy, California, was a four-time California State Place winner at Gilroy. That's tough to do out there. One class, 900 schools, and Henry comes out with a quick takedown, lassoed the ankles of Cannon and gets a quick 3-0 lead.
Yeah, and that's a good job. Kind of caught him standing in space, and a good job lassoing the feet, like you said, and a great takedown there by Porter. Kind of caught Chris Cannon, slipping a little bit there and standing in his position.
Been 3 years since Cannon was totally healthy and as an All-American. He was an All-American in 2021 and 2022. Suffered a season-ending injury last year, as I said, after transferring to Michigan, and now is back
1, 2, 3
in the Wildcat lineup, but just has had a difficult time in a couple of his losses. He actually had an injury default against Danny Pacino in the Illinois match. Concussions.
Yeah,
it's just
you're
tough.
Up a weight too now. You're used to wrestling at 33. Strength's a little bit of a an issue, but yeah, you've had injuries. Concussions. It's tough, but that's wrestling. You really can expect the unexpected. So it's a tough sport. It's cruel to everybody.
Thought you were talking about marriage there for a minute, I mean, and Henry Porter.
Henry Porter knows that too.
He knows it's tough, and you can expect the unexpected. And Henry is married, has a son. We're going to look more into Henry's life on the mat segment at intermission. But that is, you are really handling some tough stuff there as a young married couple, and hey, nothing better than right now he's doing some tough stuff on the mat.
Yeah, oh man, he's collecting 4 near fall. There's a little bit of that dad strength, right? Rustling all over. Oh, wow, I mean, great job in a blink of an eye to put 4 on the board, and he takes a 6-0 lead quick. Man, was that fast. Blink your eyes, we're talking about marriage, and then Henry Porter might have hurt us.
And I love your dad strength, man. Henry Porter, young guy, already got dad strength. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's doing a really good job in the top position. You see,
try to improve.
Hovering over those hips, high on that leg. Cannon's really got to do a better job of getting his feet under him.
Chris Cannon was able to roll out from his back before the 4 count, and so it's a 3-point near fall. So the 3-point takedown, the 3-point near fall, 6-0 for Henry Porter, 26th ranked wrestler for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, it's odd that you see a 3. I feel like we rarely ever see a 3-point near fall, but kind of just bowled him over, did a good job catching him in transition, and like I said, got the 3 swipes right there, starts counting, and Cannon did a great job of getting off his back, but Porter, great awareness right there to secure the 3-point near fall.
Really nice job by Ronaldo Santiago getting down quickly to give the counts, and it wasn't like it. He just decided that it went past 90 degrees again, or past 45 degrees, and had a couple of 1 counts because it looked like he had him down there for a long time. But good effort by the official.
Yeah, and the funny thing about top wrestling, you don't have to have tilts, you don't have to have leg wrestling. Sometimes you're just catching the guy in transition, and Henry Porter did a great job there of catching Chris Cannon as he tried to roll through.
First period coming to an end right now. Porter out in front 6-0 after the takedown and the near falls. over a Chris Cannon that is obviously struggling on a 5-match losing streak right now, but a lot of guts right there by the young man who has been wrestling for a very long time.
Yeah, and you get a new chance, right, in the second period. 6 points on the board. You got to start. You're on top. Chris is really good in this position. This is usually his bread and butter. You got to start putting points on the board, getting back on track here in the second period. Good job there by Porter, just keeping the momentum going, getting back to his feet. Yeah, Porter doing a good job. He's not biting into the, the scrambles and stuff that Chris likes to get into, and he's doing a really good job of just holding position. I think a lot of guys overestimate how important position is, and we kind of saw it in the first period. He caught, Chris Cannon back on his heels and took a good shot, but I think Porter's doing a really good job of holding position here.
And you mentioned Chris wanting to get into the scramble position. It has to be hard when that is your best area, to get into a little chaos and create it, and yet you've had so many injury problems, so there's probably hesitation at the same time.
Yeah, and it's not 133 anymore, right? You can't roll around like you used to, and the guy's got a little more strength and a little more length, so it's unfamiliar to you, but you do have to create something. You can't just sit on your heels and wait for action to happen. You have to create it.
Big turnaround we're looking at right now. These guys met 2 years ago in the Big Ten Championships in the consolation round, and Cannon beat Henry Porter 8-1 in their only other matchup. Right now, Porter completely turning it around. Early takedown and three-point near fall. The escape in the second period is out in front 7-0. Indiana leads 8-0 after the first 2 matches. A tech fall by Moran and a decision by Rini.
Yeah, and Porter doing a really good job, like I said, controlling that center position. He's been doing it well all period. You have a 7-0 lead. You don't need to do anything crazy, right? You have the riding time point. You're up 7-0. You already have the major hypothetically on the board. And, I'm just super impressed by Porter's just wrestling IQ in the second period.
Cannon gets a choice, and he's
going to go neutral.
He's going to have to create more action than he created in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, and it's a good decision by Cannon because you don't want to go under there and start sucking away time, right? You got to get right to your offense. As soon as this whistle blows, you got 2 minutes, hard as you can go, and, whether you get your hand raised or not depends on, how hard you go in this third period.
Yeah, you can't get it all back at one time, but you do have to start now with something.
Yeah, and I think that was a good job just by taking, the top, or taking neutral, because if you get an escape, it doesn't really help you that much. It's 1 point, but a 3-point takedown really changes the dynamic of the match. Yeah, and Chris is really good in this front headlock position. He's got to, snap him down. He just got to create action. He can't sit there. These seconds are precious.
Stop. We got blood.
Got a little blood action right there. And you can just see the frustration on Cannon's part right there. Matt Storniola
Got me on the mat.
trying to encourage him.
We got on the mat. Right behind.
Friday, stream wrestling live on Big Ten Plus when the Wildcats host Michigan State. Then next Sunday, the Hoosiers are back in action against Ohio State. Don't miss any of the excitement. Subscribe right now at BigTenPlus.com. And Big Ten Plus, you just go in there and see any sport anytime from past years, and the archives are incredible. It's probably the best deal out there in wrestling in the Big Ten for sure.
Yeah, and a good pickup there by Northwestern. You saw Justin Oliver in the corner. These Northwestern, although they've had a riddled injury season, they've had some gaps. And, they have a promising future with that coaching staff. And you got to keep your head high regardless of what happens today. And, a guy like Chris Cannon coming in here and just going out there and scrapping.
Like I said, it hasn't been long. It was just a couple of years ago they finished 6th in the NCAAs, and that was the second year in a row they had been in the top 10. Hadn't done that since 1989 and 90, 2 years in a row being in the top 10. Not far removed from the the excellence that had been a long time coming for Northwestern that Matt Stornioli brought back to the Wildcats.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a good shot there by Porter. Trying to get his head through, and good job by Cannon wrestling through that position. And this is the scramble I was talking about, Tim. He's, I wish he would have got it a little bit earlier. A good job by Porter collecting those hips and just staying patient in that position. He's just been so solid all match. Technically, his wrestling IQ has just been off the charts.
And it has resulted in a 10-0 lead, riding time secure. Stays the same here. That'll be a bonus point victory for Henry Porter, 26th ranked.
Coming out of bounds, it's a warning on green.
And there's a warning on green.
Yeah, and Cannon tries to roll through, just create action, create something, and Porter's just so patient, stays above the hip, stays on the legs, and just veteran move there by Porter.
Okay, green is set, red cover and hold, here we go.
Yeah, so the seconds weighing down in this match just for Cannon, just get an escape, right? Find a positive out of this match. Just finish hard, finish tough.
And we saw it with Massey Adiati.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that. Here we are talking again about someone who did not get their hand raised. With Massey did not, but we saw some gumption
Coach,
there and an understanding of what the team sport side of it means.
We're going to make sure.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, you do, and it's tough for Northwestern, right? You lose, some of your coaches. You lose some wrestlers after that 22 season. You get this weird business with the NIL, and it's tough. It's college head coaching as we know it today. But you have a promising future. But back to the action is he does a good job right there, just collecting the feet, and yeah, I don't know what they're reviewing there, but yeah, maybe he's crawling out of bounds, fleeing the mat. Not really sure. That looks like a takedown to me, Tim. Textbook, get the book out, put takedown. That looks like a textbook takedown. Not really sure what they're reviewing here.
8 seconds left in the match, 11-0. And
after an official's review, the Indiana wrestler left both feet in a cutback, which is illegal.
Oh.
1 point green.
That is so. I mean, I was looking for a cut back there, and I didn't see it. And so I'm sure it's there, or they wouldn't be calling it. And, you don't have to, it doesn't have to look violent. You just can't leave, both feet can't leave the mat at the same time. They said it was a technical violation. 1 point for Chris Cannon. And so it's going to finish 12-1. Major decision for Henry Porter. 4 more points on the board for the Hoosiers. Goes to 12-0 after 3 matches. Indiana leads Northwestern. Big time turnaround for Henry Porter, who lost to Cannon 2 years ago in their only other meeting. The senior